Welcome everyone to Empowering Women in Small Business. My name's Carol Hanlon and I am a author in the chapter of the Resilience and Reinvention book that is being launched by the Women Changing the World Press. So it gives me great pleasure to share with you insights and tips for women in small business. So I will share with you some of my background as we go through these slides, and it's a pleasure to share my skills and talents and expertise with you. Okay, so the book is titled Resilience and Reinvention, which is pretty fitting to my background. So my life challenges have built my character and determination, and the story is in the book. But just to give you some background, that is growing up in a disadvantaged family with limited resources and uh, being self-taught in everything that I took on. So I started sewing at 7. I started sewing for clients at 13 and left school and home at 15. So I realized pretty quickly that anything that I wanted to do, I needed to make it happen myself. Then I'll share with you my journey, which was for 20 years as a fashion designer, where I was resourceful, using my imagination, creativity, where I make it or create it. And then making a difference, I moved into my reinvention mode, being resilient for the last 32 years, running not for profits, making a difference to empower others, and creating projects sharing my skills and talents. So, my fashion label, titled Carol Hanlon, ran for 20 years, and I produced coordinates and uh, my I supplied a couple of hundred boutiques throughout Australia and a bit overseas, and I specialised in coordinates, and the rest of it stories in the book. So moving on, the not-for-profits that I've created. This one, and the Belmont Business Enterprise Centre, started in 1994, and that is over the years has developed BC national export projects, BC Global, the Women in Business Incubator, BPW Business Incubator, and My Business Incubator, where it's delivered cybersecurity, and there under 1001 you'll get tips from 101 cybersecurity experts. So over those years, I've assisted probably 26,000 plus women in tenders and entrepreneurs, 36,000 plus in total. But then my second not-for-profit I created in 98. That was to help fashion and creative industries. And that grew to be TCF Australia and then TCF Global. And it specializes in fashion business training and online projects and trade missions, and I've assisted probably over 8,500 designers over the years and specialized in fashion, virtual fashion incubation. So also established fashion incubators, virtual, and also had retail fashion incubators at some time as well. Okay, so we're here to talk about empowering women in business and sharing with you challenges that most probably you already know exist in your world and your life, but just sharing with you some of the reasons why there are so many challenges, because women are time poor, not only running your own business, but in home management, family responsibilities, aging parents if you also have care duties, and assisting partners' business if they have a business. So you have a serious lack of time reading the business skills that you need to grow and expand your business. So one of the things is that you don't know what you don't know. until you hit a brick wall and you go, why did this happen? But you didn't know that this was in your radar or a possibility. So what I try to do is to break all the business jargon, business information into bite-sized pieces to help you to understand what you need to know and to put in your to-do list the things that you have to get upskilled on. One of the things women in business suffer from is also, or women generally, is a lack of confidence. This could be called also, and self-doubt could be called imposter syndrome. But I was on the World Bank Incubator Committee that did some research into women business incubators around the world once, and the survey came back. It wasn't finance, it wasn't business skills that was holding women back to grow their business. It was the lack of confidence and self-esteem. Okay, because this is a naturally inbred issue that women do suffer. It doesn't matter what you do and where you are on the ladder, their self-doubt creeps in. So acknowledge it and do some personal training to overcome these issues. But generally, women start their business from the bottom up. Limited resources, limited income, and limited support. As a result, you're behind the eight ball in a lot of the areas that you need to catch up on. Mentoring is vital for a woman in business from a business mentor with that's accredited and with integrity and to provide you business advisory, confidential, one-on-one. Because I've found that women in workshops, general workshops, won't actually put their hand up and share things that they have a problem with, especially financial literacy. So having a mentor, one-on-one, confidential, you must put on your to-do list. Women can become isolated in running a business because you are so busy, obviously, being time poor, you don't have time to build those support networks. But business is based on relationships. You need to build support networks. You need to build business networks. Personal development. Every year you're entering another set of problems in your life and your business where you need to look at developing your skills for your health and well-being, because if you start to suffer with too much stress and be overwhelmed with everything that you're facing on your to-do list, then the business can also suffer. So building that having personal development in your schedule is vital, and taking time out to reassess. Access to markets is always a problem facing small business and micros and home-based business and entrepreneurs. But there are ways to access if you start taking the blinkers off and look around and think outside the box of what you need and who is the best to support you with that. And the same with finance. But finance, if you want a loan, they want to look at your business structure. They want to look at your business plan. They want to look at how you're going to pay back the loan and also build your business. They don't want to see you go bankrupt. So finance, access to finance means getting your business in order to apply for finance. So with a lack of time for business networks, I seriously suggest you put time management at the top of your list. If you practice time management, you can get 1 to 2 hours a day extra to build your business skills and build your business networks. And that's why I'm passionate about building projects where women can have 24/7 access to support. So are you working on or in your business? Working on your business is the strategic management side of your business. So working on financial management, so financial literacy, pricing and costing, Do you know your bottom line? Do you know what your margins are? Do you have a good cash flow management? Sales and marketing. Are you the best person to be selling your products or services? HR. Who are the people that you need to grow and develop your business? You can't be all things to all people if because there's only 24 hours in a day. So the administration. Are you the best to do administration or should you be looking to outsource that? Trend development. You need to be looking at where the world is going. The world of business is changing very quickly. You need to be ahead of trends, not following them. You need to be aware of trends and to adapt them to your target market and your industry. And of course, if you're doing product development, then may need to be 1 to 2 years ahead of the marketplace. As you're aware, I had a fashion business. Fibers and colors work 24 months ahead of what's ahead of the market. So if you're working on future product ranges, but also dealing with the current season, you are handling many, many balls in the air at the one time. But that's a skill you need to learn, and you need to understand that with your timelines and your time management charts that you need to keep. So think about working on your business as the left-hand side of your brain, the analytical, the mathematical, the strategic planning. And if you are not left brain, your right brain, which many women are, then you need to learn the skills to train your brain to move to the left side when you need to do this strategic planning. Okay, we're all working in the business. So, working in the business is a different mindset. So, you're doing the jobs, you're doing the making, buying, selling, accounts, the phone, the cleaning, whatever that may be. But what you have to do is keep a timesheet of the jobs that you do and how many hours a week do you do them for, and what is the cost of the value to your business if you're going to hire somebody in to do that. Because you can't make more than 24 hours in a day. So, what are you going to outsource? You need to know what the costs are. Every business is like waves on the ocean. There's highs and there's lows. This could be seasonal. It could be weather related, winter, summer. It could be tourism. But where these lines cross between you working on your business or in it is emotion. And that's the emotion of you being the person wearing two hats. You're the owner and the manager, but you're also the person working in the business. You need to learn to be objective. You need to learn to be able to say no to yourself. And that takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of determination and skill to tell yourself, no, it's not the right time to expand. It's not the right time to buy that new piece of equipment, put on that extra staff member, etc. So looking back at what we just shared is working on the business is the left side of the brain, being strategic, being mathematical, being analytical, which you need to learn these skills to break your business into these areas. A bit like having a fan on the ceiling of your office. You need to have a handle on all aspects of your running your own business. And as against doing the day-to-day tasks in the business, working in it. And have a clear idea of this, every aspect of this. So strategic planning and vision. Have you developed your 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan? If not, now's the time to start. This gives you a very good reason of thinking about what are you doing now and where do you want it to head in the future. So your vision is where you want to get to. On one side, this is a one-page business plan. One side is the dollars you want to earn per year. The other side is the years. So where do you want to be in 1 year? 5 years. Example, what's the income you earn now? And what do you want to earn in the future? Or what do you need to earn in the future? What are the hours that you work now? And what do you want to work in the future? What's the lifestyle you have now? And what do you work in the future? If you don't put pen to paper, so to speak, and think about this, you can grow and expand a business and develop a monster. You should be running a business to create a better lifestyle for yourself and your family, or whatever you choose to do. But that can't happen unless you put the vision together to let you create that. So let's say you're working now hours, 60 hours a week, but you want to work in the future 30 hours a week. Lifestyle. Let's say now you have limited personal time, but let's say in the future you want to have more personal time, and perhaps passive income. Passive income is earning money while you sleep. Example. But if you don't understand that passive income, licensing your trademark or licensing your or selling your business, if you don't put the plan together now, you won't get the price you think or your business is worth. So let's go through a few tips that I've listed here now for you. Costing your time in your business is vital, because how can you get the income that you want for yourself if you're not even costing the time you put into your business? Once you start doing that, you'll realize what you have to change your habits and look for new methods of being more efficient and more effective. And that also comes with time management. Researching your business risks. The world of business has changed dramatically. The risks are all over the world right now. You have to research your risk management and put a plan in place that what if this happens? What if that happens? So you're prepared to pivot, to change whatever you need to adjust to. AI growth, will it affect your target market? Will it affect your target market's clients, which in turn will affect them, but they haven't realized it yet? You need to look at how you can use AI to grow your business. And keep in mind, if you use AI, you must have the pay for the private version. Otherwise, you're putting all your personal data out to the public domain. Diversify your supply chains. I mentioned the world has changed. Business risks are very tough at the moment. You cannot have all your eggs in one basket. You need to diversify your supply chains in other areas around the world, especially in freight and logistics, if you can. Retirement plans. Succession. If you plan to sell your business, you need to start putting the plan in place years ahead of that, because people want to buy a business with a plan that's working in place without you. And retirement. In Australia, the fastest growing group of homeless is women 55 plus. So 1 in 3 retire with no funds whatsoever due to not having a plan in place. And women in small business do not put funds away for their retirement because they're not even drawing the correct wage for their business for the time that they're putting in to their business. So developing new opportunities must happen all the time. Do not rest on your laurels. The world changes, the consumer changes, business changes. You need to always be looking for new opportunities, and especially cash cows and especially passive income opportunities for you to develop the lifestyle that you want and deserve. So start putting this plan together. It can be a written plan. It can be a storyboard with pictures. as long as you start planning for the future of income, hours, and lifestyle, and that's what your plan needs to include. I'm very also passionate about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, global goals for short. If we look at gender equality, number 5, the UN has already identified that gender equality won't be reached for hundreds of years. And there's a lot of pushback in many countries of the world about gender. So you need to be aware that as a woman in business, you need to call this out and you need to empower other women around you. But look at your own business. What are you passionate about? What is it that you wish to? Maybe you're in the business of health and well-being. So number 3, good health is your passion. Go to the Global Goals website. You can download these icons. Look at what your mission and your passion is and promote the Global Goals number 3 in your newsletters and in your website. Get involved with the NGOs in your area that are involved in any of the categories that is your business mission and your passion. Number 17 is the partnerships for goals. Partner up with the women's organizations in your region or your country or globally and contribute and get involved, because ESR, environment, social, and governance, your clients want to see what you stand for in social justice and who you are aligned with. So get involved. As a woman in business, you're a purchaser of fashion, apparel, and homewares. TCS, textile clothing and footwear, this is the awareness checklist for you. Water usage in textiles covers SDG 6. Example, a t-shirt, 5,000 pints of water, 5,000 children die a day through unclean drinking water. So think twice before you throw your next t-shirt away in landfill, or you buy a cheap t-shirt just to throw it out in a month's time. Cotton production uses 25% of the world's insecticides. Chemical use in textiles, understand reading the textiles content in the labels of your products. Apparel labeling is vital for you to understand where products are made. Ethical fashion and accreditation, the responsibility of this is the end consumer, which is you, the purchaser. Retailers and labels will only change their habits by demands from the consumer. Ethical fashion and accreditation is vital. More importantly, transparent supply chains with no modern slavery. So you've got to be aware of the transparent supply chains of what you're purchasing. Fast fashion was the era when I had my fashion label. Fast fashion is what's with us today in mass consumerization or consumerism of the fast fashion online cheap product and clothing. Slow fashion is when I had my fashion label. The apparel was made to last 10, 20, 30 years, still going on, and made by hand in an accredited fashion factory. You need to think about apparel disposal and what you do with products you no longer want, and where do you pass them on to, and as against putting them into landfill. Circular supply chains is what we need to all work towards with everything we purchase. And unfortunately, the fashion industry will contribute to 25% of the world's carbon budget by 2050, unless you, the consumer, change your habits. If you're in small business in exporting or in trade or trade advisory or logistics, you can contact me to get involved in our BC National Export Training and Mentoring Projects. If you're looking to import from Australia, I can connect you with importers, agents, and distributors. If you've got an online sales portal, I can connect you with suppliers. If you want to be involved with our trade fair opportunities with sponsored accommodation, travel rebates, we have missions to Hong Kong, China, India, Vietnam, South Korea. And if you are an exporter or an advisor and you want to be in our book, you can share your 10 tips in our export book we're putting together. In a month or so, I'll be launching our 22nd Design Edge Innovation Festival. There'll be hundreds of webinars and online activities that you can participate in, and many of them will be for free. So take advantage of this festival. It'll run for 3 months. How do you get access to all the things that we're doing? Is I produce newsletters. As a not-for-profit, that's the only way we can share everything that we're doing with you. We have the BC newsletter, which is for the A to Z of business. We have the TCF newsletter for creatives in fashion and textile industry around the world. And we have the Women in Business, BPW Business Incubator, which, and with these newsletters, I do 9 a month. 3 are for Western Australia, 3 go throughout Australia, and 3 go globally with different information in each one applicable. And these are free to register to get involved with. And that's where you'll find all the opportunities that are happening. So you're part of the Women Press, Women Changing the World Press book. My chapter is Making a Difference. You can, no doubt by now, you've got the links of resilience and reinvention. If you'd like to hear my full story, it's in the book, or there is an audio book as well. So empowering women in small business is my passion. There is all our websites that you can register individually to get newsletters or to see what's happening or become a member. Our address is there. Empowering women in small business, it's especially important for you in business, no matter what stage of the business you're at. When you realize that you have unique skills and talents, it's important to take other women on the journey with you. Share your skills and talents, lend out a hand, empower them, and take them on your journey. Thank you for attending this webinar, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, and good luck in your business today. Thank you very much.